Okay, I'm really getting excited to plant tomorrow. I want to plant some seeds, but I'm going to soak some of them overnight so they've got some real good moisture in them before I ever put them into the soil. And that'll give them a nice little head start. So I think I'm going to soak some pepper seeds, and as you'll see, the pepper seeds are, fairly large and easy to handle. So I'm gonna soak those in my cup of water, and I've got my beet seeds here, and you can see that these are fairly large as well. They're easy to pick up, and so once I soak them in water, they're going to be easily recognizable, and I can just pick them right up out of the water. Sometimes I'll just pour the seeds out in the water to get them in my hand, and plant them. Now, if I'm going to plant some celery, you'll notice that the celery seed is really, really tiny. So I'm actually not going to put the celery seed into the water because it's just going to be a little too difficult to handle if they're wet. But while they're dry, so I can easily pick them up and put them right into my garden. So the larger seeds, like I showed you, the squash, the beans, any of the larger seeds, I will always soak them in some water. Just put them on my kitchen sink windowsill, let them sit overnight. But the smaller ones, like the celery, the lettuces, the carrots, onions, we won't need to soak those. But they will need a lot of moisture out in the garden. Planting in our square-foot garden, and this is the really fun part. First of all, we want to make sure this soil is really nice and wet. And the best way to get that wet is spraying it as you're filling your box with the soil. But it takes some water to get all that peat moss and vermiculite really soaked well. We are going to go ahead and start with our large plant. And our large plants, we will plant one per square. For example, we've got our broccoli here. We've got our handy tool. This is about our only tool we need with our square foot gardening. And I like to soak our vegetable gently, let it come out of the pot, soak it in some water first. Place it in here, and then we're going to get some more of our sun-warmed water here. This is our bucket of sun-warmed water that we keep right beside our box so that it's handy. Add some more water to that. Now we're going to make a saucer-like depression around our broccoli, like this, so that it can hold the water easily when we water it again next time. And so you're really watering deliberately. You're not wasting any water at all. You're just watering where the plant needs it, right at the roots. So this was our extra large plant. We put one per square. Now we're going to do our large plants, and we're going to plant seed this time. I'm going to just pour a few seeds into my hand, and I'm going to do zip, zap, bing, bing. And I've got just the right spacing for my spinach. I'm going to deepen these holes a little bit here. I'm putting 4 per square for my large plant. And I'm going to drop in about 2 to 3 seeds of my spinach in each of these spots. And then I'm going to cover that over. And now we've got our large plants done. Now we've got our medium-sized plants. And for the medium-sized plant, we're going to do our zip zap. But now we're going to do bing, 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 bing. We're going to do 9 for the medium-sized plants. And this would be our beans. This would be beets. Now for our small plants, small size plants, and generally the seeds will give you a clue about what size they are. The larger the plant, the larger the seed. Well, these onions are very small, so we're going to be able to fit 16. Zip, zap, bing, 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 bing. We've got 16 holes now. We're going to pour the seed, just a small portion of our seeds. We're going to be able to save a lot of our seeds. We'll put those in a Ziploc bag and put them away in our refrigerator. We can use these next year, the year after. So we're going to plant onion now. Onions are 16 per 12-inch square, and so are carrots, chive. We can fit 16 in that 12-inch square. Then we're going to cover that up. And I like to keep these nice and moist for about a week so that they can germinate. A seed actually has to completely soak up water to germinate. And it's a good idea too to take these seeds before you're going to plant and soak them in water overnight. A good way too to keep these moist is using a fine sprayer on your hose. That's what I prefer to use. Just keep that moist. You might need to spray it every day. Okay, there's just one more thing we need to add to our square foot garden, and that is a pretty flower. You may wonder why. Well, the main reason is because, as Mel says, they're pretty.